Hey there, Hollywood Hills fans. Welcome to this week's show. So as we said on last week's entry, this was going to be an edit week. We've smashed it out, and now we are stoked to deliver. I haven't used the word for a long time. A banger. This is an absolute banger. Delmas, right smack bang in the middle of winter. It's got some of the coolest terrain to work with. It's challenging, but it does give us really good footage to work with. And if you guys were out there, you know it was a good day's racing as well. Dust in the middle of winter, it's always going to be that way. This is the place that we live, and this is how we roll. But Delmas is done and dusted for the season. We'll no doubt go back there next year, but it really created some fantastic riding. The juniors were out there. They had to deal with a bit of swampland in the morning session, so the kids were coming home with like 5, 6, 7 kgs of mud on their bikes, but they brought it home. The quads had some spectacular racing, and they had probably some of the biggest wind going out there, so they could actually get a lot of vision going. So that was good for the quads. And then an afternoon racing session, the motorbikes were out there, the quads had cleaned up the track for them, and they absolutely flew. Some of the best racing we have seen for the last few years. And now we can look forward to a bit of a long push. We're going to ride out the most of winter as far as the GXCCs go. And then in around about a month and a half's time, we're going to be heading out to Rustenburg. That's going to be the penultimate round of their championship. But anyway, I'm talking and talking and talking. I'm going to talk some more in the next part of the show. But for now, enjoy the banger. This is Delmas. All this GXCC racing action is brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. Back at Delmas, but this time we've come here in winter, which means it's going to be nice and dry. No rain, but Vian, you've got a lacquer track laid out.
Yeah, we raced here in 2020 and 21. We skipped 22. So we had 2 tracks in those 2 years. I did a bit of a mix-up between the two. And we've also given some of the junior track for the seniors and some of the senior tracks for the juniors. So a nice little mix-up for the guys, yeah.
So in the morning, smack bang in the middle of winter in Delmas, we went down to the pits to chat to the juniors and the quaddies. Franco, you're one of the busiest guys at the GXCCs, that's what I always say. We're talking about the junior category. What have you got for us this morning?
No, we're starting not in a long time now. I think the track is going to be fast today. I saw in the photos that Vian put it on Telegram. There's some muddy sections, but I think it's going to be fun.
You're obviously doing really well in the junior championship, but all eyes are on the future, thinking about next year, hey?
Yeah.
Tell me about how that works, racing in the morning and then straight into the afternoon.
Yes, 5 hours a day is hard. Yes, it's really hard. But the last lap, the last race I didn't finish because my knee, from the morning I fell, but my knee got sore. But today I'm really going to try hard to finish.
Caitlin, you have had a super busy 2023. How are you feeling coming out of that last run of races?
It's really good. I think I could do a lot better, but it's really nice.
Tell me about how you're feeling about this one right in the middle of winter.
It's really cool, but I think I can handle it.
Tell me about the way that the season has been running, because you seem to be getting better as the year goes on.
It's really hard, but I'm getting there, and the track is really nice.
Yo dude, good to go, middle of winter, hey?
Ja nee, dit is freaking koud. Die winter is hier so, ons kry koud, maar dit is lekker. Ons is hier met ry.
Now, I just spoke to Vian. You've got 3 river crossings today. You happy about that?
Nee, eintlik nie, maar dit is deel van die sport. Dus ons moet geniet, die gaan en ons moet elke lap geniet.
I look down the pits. Every race we get a couple of different quaddies, so obviously there's some little promotion happening at the back of the scenes.
Ja nee, definitief. Hier kom baie meer mense by. Ek is bly daarvoor die sport daar weer op, so dis goed. Dis bly.
Phil, you know what it takes to win a championship, but what do we do to win this one in the middle of winter?
I don't know. We'll have to see when we go out what's it like. So pre-race they said it's all open, and so we'll see.
I want to see if you've
Just
done
hope the body keeps up.
Any tricks, because there's 3 rivers, it's going to get cold, man.
Yeah, yesterday we pitched up here. They said it's quite deep. So yeah, hopefully there's someone going in before me.
Tell me about the 525. This was a championship winning machine a couple of years back, but you've had some issues. She's back.
She's back, brand new motor. So I've got about 3 hours on the motor. So hopefully it keeps up.
All the pre-event interviews done for the morning session. It was flag waving, flag drop time, and the quaddies would be first out. The Q1s, as always, it would be the whole shot superstar that is Brian Herbst that would go out front. Only 4 quads going out of the Q1 gate. But of course, it's a 2-horse race in the championship, with Franco Pretorius starting to get a grip on the big number 1 plate. Muller and Knutzer would do the chasing. On the Q2s, we're expecting this to be a Q2 track with a lot of wide open straights. Davy van Staden got the big hookup on the Can-Am 4x4, but on the race, Hannes Simon was back on the big hybrid 690 with the chasing Honda of Tinus Kutzer, trying to get the monkey off his back after a tough start to the season so far with a ton of mechanicals. In the Quad Masters, Fernando de Santos was out there, but Philip Bass was also back on the KTM 525 to see what he could do at Johnny Come Lately in the 2023 series. For the quad veterans, once again, small numbers this time around, with Suez Schubert getting the whole shot off the gate, but that was short-lived, as at turn number 2, it was Francois Smallberger on the Honda and Mario Buerta trying to see what they could do about putting their names on the trophies. Then into the quad ladies, Nali Colley was out there again, trying to see what she could do in the championship, with Liesel Barnard on the 4x4 Can-Am. Nicole Barnard was also there, along with Kern Brits. 4 ladies out there onto the 51-kilometer high-speed dust bowl and a little bit of mud and river crossings for the quaddies. Then back down onto the gate for the junior categories, as they would see what they could do about taming the beast of Delmas. Franco Ferri always super strong out of the gate, himself and Murray Smith firing strong with Tully Stratum. Derek van Asviergen also coming back into the mix. Van Asviergen made a good name for himself at the previous round, stepping out of the motocross gate and coming on, but this was going to be a huge test. In the junior 85s, Liam Schippers fired one out the gate to get the big hole shot, but on the championship, it's Drickus van der Merwe on the VW Hatfield Master Cars KTM that was looking strong in the series, up against the CIT Franchise Co. Sleep over Honda. Those two are the class of the gate. In the 65s, Jean-Luc van der Vestes and the whole shot machine delivered the goods once again, alongside his Vans Racing Husqvarna teammate Declan Richards, with Wilco Deploy in the mix as always, banging bars. Pierre Coetzee, Mr. Gear out of the gate, so he would have to chase through a little bit of traffic in the early stages. Back down onto the 50cc's, Campbell Dupree strong out of the gate, Seb Nel and Kellen van Deventer though. Van Deventer in the championship is going to be one to watch out for, as he ran good pace once again. The 50cc's would be some of the first casualties coming into the big mud bog section, as the little wheels got jammed up in the swampland. With all the juniors out of the gate and the quads out there on the big loop, it was time to see what Delmas had in store. Let's start things out with the junior course. How long are we going this time? Because you're stretching these kids at the moment.
Yeah, it's 18.4 for the juniors. So we try and get them closer to that 20 mark. But unlike some of the other races on the calendar, this is going to be a slightly faster track. So yeah, it's good that it's a little bit longer. Otherwise, they're going to be here in 12 minutes. So we want to try and get them here in about 20 minutes. So yeah, I think the only thing for the juniors that's going to be tricky is there's one big grassland with a couple of wet patches. It's not ditches or anything like that, but water is seeping up from underneath, and it's going to get a bit mushy for them.
A bit mushy indeed. The issue in the morning session was less about the mud than it was about the extreme cold conditions and the dust. The good thing was the wind was up though, so the kids were able to dodge as far as vision went. But the thin mud section became quite a wide mud section, and the 50cc's really battled. David Gordon walked away with a number 10 ride, with Bernie Blicknort in a number 9, Lincoln Deister strong enough for a number 8, and Cooper Jackson inside of a number 7. Zibo Muwabi shows us how challenging the mud section was. It wasn't just the mud, it was the cut grass as well, which created, well, a fair bit of new friends on the bikes. Some of the 50cc bikes coming home weighing an extra 5 kilograms. Trav Levy, who's one of the big kids on the 50cc gate, desperate to move up to the 65s, did a good job of things on the Moto Klerksdorp Honda racing machine. Up the road from him, Eben Scholz, one of the littlest dudes out there, battled and toughed his way through the mud bog and the whole 2 hours of racing in the morning session for Spherical Logistics on the J999. Campbell Dupria, who came into this championship as a championship standout favorite, had some issues on the day, a couple of crashes, losing the peak, and just did not gel well with the changeable conditions out here at Delmas. Third place is going to hurt his championship challenge, but he should still be there in the mix after this round with 2 rounds to go. Sebastian Nell, incredible job for this guy. He's starting to really become a championship racing player as he walks away with a rock-solid number 2 spot out here at round 4 of the GXCCs. But it was the kid that ran the numbers off the front, even with 1 or 2 fallovers, and believe me, all the kids had at least 1 or 2 fallovers on the day, but they brought it home, saw the checkered flag, and got those valuable GXCC championship points on the plate. Kellen van Deventer, the main man at Delmas on the 50cc's. The 65cc gate would fare a little bit better as they had a little bit more power and more gears to play with and slightly bigger wheels to tame the beast of Delmas. Alweto got it done inside of a number 8, with Carver Godrich really battling with the conditions out here at the 4th round of the series, dropping down to a number 7. Normally he'd be running a lot higher than that. Alexander Nemeth was up there with a number 6, and one of the standout podium favorites, Volko de Ploy for Rubin Racing, also went down pretty hard throughout the race, could not find the setup to get himself higher than the number 5, and that's going to hurt him in his championship challenge to try and place inside of the top 3. Inside the top 4, one of the best rides of the season coming out of Ewan Fourie. The J138 starting to build pace as we head into the second half of the championship. The top 3, though, were the regular players that are always positioned inside of the top 3. The whole shot superstar that is John-Luc van der Westhuizen had about 4 crashes on the day, couldn't find his normal mojo on the Vans Racing Husqvarna, but third place still keeps his name in the hat. John-Luc starting to develop a more technical riding style, so the high speed just not working out for him. Declan Richards has started to come on song now, coming off a very good run of results for rounds 1, 2, 3, and now rounds 4. Second place will see Declan Richards improve in his championship challenge as well as we head into the last 2 events of the season. But even though he didn't get the gate that he wanted after missing a gear coming out of the hook, Pierre Coetzee still remains the man on top as he stares down the barrel of the magical 3-peat. That's a club, regional, and national championship in 2023. For the GXCC 85cc juniors, it was junior, Chris Harmser Jr. that is, breaking his way inside of a top 10. He's really battled with this season, but it looked like it was a good track for him this time around. Alexander Dillman going all cannonball. Most riders crashing out in the early laps and losing a peak and then having to tough it out. Peakless the rest of the day. Niang was there in 8th place. Ritabetsi and then Radicolo, all of those guys racing inside of an 8, 7, and 6th place, trying to get on to the back wheel of Bryson Daister inside of the top 5. The Junior 85s is becoming one of those wild categories. Remember, most of these kids will be just about to make the move up into the big show on the Senior 85s for the 2024 championship. Bryson Daister made a good name for himself racing out of the GXCCs and the Nationals this year, and starting to become a very solid force to be reckoned with on the 444 racing machine. Ulrich Asviken making the trip out from the motocross tracks. By my count, only his 3rd time of racing with us at the GXCC Championship, and starting to figure out the big difference between motocross and GXCC cross-country racing. But a 4th place makes him a strong bet for the future. Toine Tiampont said she wanted to upset the apple cart and take the fight to the boys, and she's certainly doing that. Another podium for the Gravity Racing All-Star. Liam Skierpers managed to stay out of her target zone with a rock-solid number 2 ride. He's starting to find that groove. He came in hot at the beginning of the season. Mid-part of the year, though, he's had his issues, but second place will put him back into a happy place. Drickus van der Merwe, though, on the VW Hatfield Mastercars Racing KTM, was rock and roll the whole way through the day, not only winning out in the Junior 85cc category, but walking away with his first ever overall in the juniors. That meant he was faster than all the kids on the Senior 85s as well. Also riding out of Gravity Racing, Matthias Tiempont breaks his way inside of a top 10. He's also been struggling for the form that has seen him finish inside the top 5 many times. 10th place for him. Then Ben van Schalkwyk was up the road in a number 9, with Willem Botha inside of a number 8. There was some good bunching of riders in the early stages of the event until things started to stretch themselves out, and then fueling strategy and pit stops came into play. Bafokeng Latsopi was inside of a number 6, dicing things out with Lekelo. That was a 7 and a 6 ride for those guys. Franco Ferri for the Roos KTM squad. He had a good gate, but had some issues out there on the course, eventually dropping down to a number 5. He should always be inside of a top 3, so 5th place for Franco. He won't be happy with that one for the famous 400. Awesome to hear those kids wound up, flat out, and hanging off the back down some of the big straights out at Delmas. You could see the wind was a benefit for the juniors as they went down on the outside of the mealie fields, where the wind was just blowing things out the way, and they could actually stay pretty close to each other with no danger of having to pass into the dust. Corbin Muller has been a strong bet for the last couple of seasons. He breaks his way inside of the top 4 once again. He found a track that was to his liking. Tully Stradum was up the road from him inside of a number 3. And then Drickus van Asvergen. This guy is going to be a big threat for next season if he stays on the Senior 85s. Watch out for his name inside the top 3 the whole way through the season. Right now, just starting to understand what GXCC racing is all about. 2 spot, and not too far off the back of the eventual race winner. Still, once again, it's a clean scorecard for Murray Smith. Murray Man getting it done once again. He has been undefeated at every single category and every single class of championship that he's entered this year. The only beating he took on this day and on the season was the fact that he didn't get the junior overall on the day, but he did get the class win, and he runs off front once again. We chatted to the juniors after the race.
Murray man, that was a very cold start to your racing day.
Yeah, it was very cold in the beginning and throughout the race. It didn't get any warmer. It made it quite hard.
Tell me about the terrain out there, because Vian's making these tracks nice and fast for you guys.
Yeah, it was a very, very fast track. I was hitting speeds I don't usually hit. The track was very muddy. They said it would just be a little bit of puddles, but it got very, very muddy. To me, it felt like a swamp out there, but it was a nice track.
Drickus, looks like we found the perfect track for you. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it was a very fast track. I enjoyed it a lot, but it was very dusty and muddy, so yeah.
Funny combo, dust and mud?
Yeah, not the best combo, but yeah. Yeah.
Tell me about the fact that everyone's talking that you might have actually taken the overall today, so you were obviously pinned.
Yeah, I was trying to take the overall, but I don't think I was going to take it, but yeah.
Tell me
happy about it.
Tell me about the season, because it's lining up nicely.
Yeah, well, I'm laying first in the Junior 85 Championship now, hoping to stay there. Yeah.
Yeah, you are on one this year. Tell me about that race, because that was the coldest one we've had so far.
Yeah, it was so wet. On lap 1, John Luke was on my tail, so I just went flat tap. Then I started pulling out of him. Then I got at that mud section. I fell one time into the mud, but I stand up and I just flat taps.
Yo, dude, we're just in from the morning race. Tell me how it went for you.
It was torture. The mud was so deep, I was just getting stuck, and I pulled the whole shot. But Campbell and Dayston made an early pass on me, but on the first lap I let them do the work. On the second lap I made the pass, and I just hang cable the whole way.
Yeah, dude. Different to motocross, eh?
Yeah,
Tell me about the pit stops. Mom and Dad looking after you there?
yeah, 20-second pit stop. It really helped. Didn't I get to drink everywhere because it was a very hard one. Hardest of the year.
You did a good job.
It can only get better from here on out. Here's confirmation of the results then. Senior 85's Murray Smith off the front once again ahead of Van Asverken, Strader, Muller and Fourie inside of the top 5. Watch out for Fourie to bounce back at the next couple of rounds. Junior 85's Drukers van der Merwe takes another win, but more importantly takes the overall on the day, his first overall win in the junior category, beating out on the day ahead of Skeupers, Tienpont, Van Asverken and Deister. In the 65cc's, it's the usual combatants at the front. Here Kutsia takes another win ahead of Richards. Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen in third place, beating out on Ewan Fourie. Good result for Ewan Fourie ahead of Wilco Deploy. And on the 50cc's, we just chatted to the dirty face of Kellen van Deventer, showing us how it's done out there on the challenging terrain of Delmas, beating out on Seb Nel, Campbell Duprier, Eben Scholz and Travis Levy once again inside of the top 5. Out of the juniors and into the quads.
Talk to me about the quads. And I spoke to Brian. He's like, oh, rivers in winter?
Yeah, so the seniors have got 3 river crossings on their route. 2 of them not bad. It's little splashes about that deep. But the famous big one that we always go through underneath the train bridge, the water is deep. We moved a couple of rocks there yesterday just to get the water to flow a bit. And it was about 5 minutes later, the water has gone down by about 10 centimeters. So that'll help. But yeah, it's going to get freezing, you know, when your boots are wet and you have to go through there and you still have to do it another 3 or 4 times. Yeah, it's going to get interesting there.
Tell me about the length of the track, because you've been kind of floating just under 50, just over 50.
Yeah, this time round it's exactly 51 kilometers. There was one section that we wanted to use that we used in 21, but the rivers came down and completely destroyed the bridge. So we had to cut out about 5 kilometers there. But then I used some of the 2020 track for the juniors on the other side of the farm to make up that lost distances that we had there.
It was a big, scary, wild track for the quads as they went out there into the dust and cold conditions of Delmas. For the ladies, 4 ladies took the gate, 4 ladies saw the flag. Koen Brits was out there rocking and rolling her way to a number 4 finish with Nicole Barnard bringing the big 4x4 Can-Am up to a number 3 ride. Most of the ladies tagging a 3-lap racing count in the 3 hours of the morning session. Liesl Barnard was so strong off the pull off the gate and settled into a very nice, comfortable rhythm to walk away with yet another 2nd place. She's losing the championship lead, unfortunately, to the hard-charging, gnarly Carly Simon, who's come on strong in her comeback year. Carly's pace showed that she would actually potentially be able to place inside of a top 10 overall in the quads, putting the Frighteners on a lot of the senior men competitors in the Q1 and Q2s. Carly Simon for the EMD QCon squad walks away with yet another big banger win. Into the quad veterans after pulling a big hole shot. Sways Blicknot faded back throughout the day, unfortunately, to drop down to a 3rd place, but that should still see him remain inside the top 3 for the championship, as he is a very consistent rider throughout the entire length of a championship challenge. Even had time to give us a nice wave out there. And even though I've ragged him the whole year, he's kept that rear view mirror on. In his comeback season as well, jumping onto the LTR 450, Mario Puerta was back out there and banging. Got wet gloves on lap number 1, so decided, I'll go gloveless for the rest of the day. 2nd place shows that he is back on the money and fighting fit, ready to challenge for the wins. It's going to be a tough ask though, because Francois Smallberger has found the mojo, found the setup that he likes on the Honda 450, and he ran off the front once again to bring home the Honda to a number 1 spot and take yet another win in the quad veterans category. Not only that, He was inside the top 10 in the overalls yet again. Up the road were the tasty lads in the Quad Masters category. Small numbers this time around, but Darren Moyle did manage to get his way up into a third place on a very stock machine. He'd have definitely been down on top end and handling, but third place means you're in it to win it. Fernando dos Santos got the jump on the rest of the field and ran consistent pace the whole way through the day. And he has been the guy to beat in the Quad Masters Championship on this season. But on the day and on the series, we welcome back Philip Boyce in the Quad Masters to the top step. Remember, Philip has challenged and really diced for this championship through the last couple of seasons. And it's great to have him back on the bike and the KTM 525, even after a massive rebuild, running out of fast KTM. It brought home the numbers and the big win in Delmas. Welcome back to the big show, Big Phil. Climbing the ladder, and we expected good race pace to come in from the Q2s out here. Sean Kutzer, riding the big KTM for Gravity Racing, battled to find his mojo, but 7th place shows that he had a pretty consistent and solid day. Dolby van Staden, after pulling the big hole shot, or almost the hole shot, he ran solid pace early on, but faded backwards. He had some issues on the machine throughout the day, dropping down to an eventual 6th place finish. And when that thing is wound up, she runs fast. We had a new winner on the tour earlier in the season, but it wasn't to be on this day. Number 5 finish for JJ Baitenbach, but he's still looking good in the championship. And if your worst finish on the season is going to be a number 5, that's not a bad day at the office, but it is going to hurt him in his championship challenge. Ronald Rice, who's been battling to find his form in the 2023 championship, found a track that was custom made for his high-speed wild riding style. 4th place gives him one of his best rides and best results on the season. Back into the top 3 and running rock solid pace throughout the day, Rion Dick for the EMD QCon Racing Squad was out there representing and loving the fact that he could actually use the power that he has and able to unleash it on the Raptor 700. 3rd place, one of the best rides of the season coming out of Rion Dick. It was a 2-spot this time around. He would prefer a win, but 2nd place will feel like a victory after coming off a string of mechanical events where he's just battled to get his championship challenge going. Tinus Kutzer and the Gravity Racing Honda 2nd place. He'll be pretty happy with that one. A little bit more horsepower and he'll be right there. Up the road from him, though, was the guy that on the day when he turns up and everything works, there's no stopping this dude. Hannes Simon, another of the EMD QCon Racing Warriors. The hybrid spec 690. This thing was running very strong pace throughout the day. Ran the numbers, ran off the front, passed all of the Q1s, took the category win in the Q2s and the overall in the quads for the morning session. That meant he passed all these dudes as well. In the Q1s, Brian Herbst pulled the pin and got the whole shot, running out of the 421 Racing and CST Dragon squad. But it was not to be this time around. Unfortunately, the chain jumped off, jammed up once again, and dropped Brian out of what could have been a challenge for the win, down to a number 4 spot. That meant Ruan Muller got his highest finish of the season for the Gravity Racing squad, getting a number 3 finish, and also finding his groove at the number 4 round of the championship. Up the road from him, Kobus Knutzer, one of the guys that we managed to crowbar out of the WOW class from last year. Now he's making a name for himself in the Q1s. Yet another top 3 finish. Watch out for this guy to start tickling the podiums every now and again. Knutzer will be happy that he managed to stay on the lead lap as well. But after the problems for Brian Herbst, it was plain sailing and clear running for Franco Pretorius. He said after the race that he just could not hold the pace of the open class quads that came through round about lap number 1, late on in that loop. After that, he was in his own race and just setting his own time trials. Franco Pretorius now clearly takes over the championship lead in the Q1s as he stares down the barrel of a big number 1 plate.
Franco, tell me about the day at Delmas.
Ja, nee, was lekker geweest, die baan was rof, was lekker gereden. Het was een beetje koud vanochtend geweest, de eerste 2 laps. Ik heb blijkbaar mijn bike aangehad, maar verder was alles mooi geweest.
Tell me about those river crossings. How bad were they?
De eerste 2 is hij daar met de baddie, maar de laatste met die, die laatste een is een beetje diep. Hij gaat een beetje stadig daar, maar verder is het mooi. Geen probleem mee.
What about going out there trying to chase onto the back wheel of Hannes? That was tough, eh?
Ja, nee, het was moeilijk geweest. Die klein voor 15 met die lange strijd. Hij sukkel maar zo'n beetje, maar alles komt dan. Ik was happy, het klacht om ook tracks happy.
Tinos, tell me the story, bro.
Oh, yes. I think first race this season I finished. So really happy. Was chasing Hannes. I don't know what happened on the end with him because he was slowing down. I could see him in the distance. But no, pushed through. Happy. Points. That works. I'm really happy.
Honda's hanging together here.
Yeah, no, this full 50, the last race, I had a thumb throttle problem. The bearing seized up. So, but yeah, so far no problems with this race. It was an awesome track. A little bit wet, cold stuff, but yeah, we pushed through.
Quads delivering the goods at Delmas, round number 4 of the championship. Franco Pretorius confirmed with the win ahead of Knotzer, Muller and Herbie down there in number 4 spot. Hannes Simon takes the overall win and takes it in the Q2s, beating Kutzer, Dick, Rass and Beitenbach. Into the Masters, it was all about Philip Boyce bouncing back and coming back hard to beat out De Santos and Moyle, and the veterans was Smallberger over Buerta and Blucknote. For the ladies, Gnarly Carly hammering the nail once again and putting the hurt on the championship that at the moment is all about Barnard, and Brits. That was the juniors and the quads. We now get ourselves ready for the big bike class in the afternoon session. As always, before the big gates and the lineups, we went down to the pits to do the lap and chat to the beautiful people, get their thoughts on this event.
Shelly, you're one of our favourite riders to watch out there. You always look like you're having a great time. How are you feeling about this one?
I'm quite excited. I'm a bit scared of getting wet and cold, but it's fine. I'm going to put a jacket on and get over it. But yeah, I'm excited.
Tell me about the season. You seem to be racing everything. Where we are, you are.
Yeah, this here at GXCC, I'm riding OL4 just for some practice for when I can move up to the ladies.
Buenos, crazy start to the season. A little bit of a break. We're back at it now.
Yeah, the body's having a bit of a rest now, so you know we need to show our game faces again, and we have to do it. But yeah, in this weather, the body feels a little bit stiff. But yeah, hopefully we'll be okay when we're on the bike. Warm up and just give it horns, eh?
A warm up until we find the river, eh?
Yeah, let's not talk about that river. I think the river's near the end on this loop, but let's see. But keep it on 2 wheels going through there, otherwise we're going to be freezing cold.
Obviously, the national championship, you're racing for second place. GXCC's still going for the wins.
Yeah. Unfortunately, with the national championship being a short series, Peter's won that series already. I'm fighting for second place, which is cool. Picked up from being a bit 5th or 6th. But yeah, GXCC, everything's to play for. Leading the Northern Region Championship, but GXCC second to Peter as well. But yeah, he's having a phenomenal season. But we're all there and we're having fun, and we really, you know, the camaraderie between the guys is a joy. And yeah, it's so good to race with the boys, eh?
Brother, for a comeback season, you're having one hell of a comeback, eh?
Yeah, it's been fun. You know, I'm just doing this to have a ball. 2 weeks ago, I had a big crash. So today, you know, going to take it a bit more cautious out there, not so wild, but trying to push for a top 5 again. I think will be the plan of action.
Laurie, GXCC go time once again. It's going to be a cold one.
Yeah, yes, Matt, it's been cold. It's getting better now. I think the sun will come out just now. The wind's blowing, which is a good thing. It's going to be dusty today, so the wind's going to help a lot. But yeah, we're racing. It's fun to be here. Big shout out to the team, Franchise Co, Talkcraft, Motul, Honda SA. I can't thank these guys enough, you know. I just realized it now today coming to the race. If it's not for these guys backing us, none of this is possible. We get to enjoy the sport. You know, it's a healthy sport. It's nice for the kids and the family. So big up and big thank you to the sponsors.
Straight up. Remember Delmas? Remember this track?
Yeah. It's good. It's a good track. I enjoy this type of riding. It's very fast. So lines are crucial. Your braking points are crucial. You can't really make time easily. So these little things is very, very important. So yeah, today is just focus on the small details and hope for the best.
I'm going to ask you again. You've done a lot of development on this bike. You've been working with suspension a lot. What have you got for us today?
Yeah, obviously I've been my KTM my whole life, and fortunate enough to be on the Honda this year. What a bike. Honestly, it's a complete different bike. It took me a day or two to get used to it, and now I'm comfortable. It was minor changes, literally just bar change, sag change. Yeah, and again, big thank you to Tian, the team. It's an awesome bike, so it makes my job easier and a lot more enjoyable.
D, have you got over Freiburg, and are you ready for this one?
Yeah, I'm as ready as can be, and we're going to take it as it comes, see how it goes.
Freiburg was a tough one, eh? Tell me about that.
Yeah, on Friday went well. I was able to take the win, and Saturday I just had problems from the beginning, and on the end my bike seized up.
I think the end of the season, it's no secret that you're going to go to 250th next year. So for now, it's just trying to get as many wins as you can.
Yeah, I'm out of the national championship. I'm still in the GXCC championship, and give my best and see how it goes.
Brother, this 250 gate, like we've been saying the whole season, it's wild. It's going to be crazy this time.
Yeah, well, no, it's always crazy. I see John has left us now. He's going to battle it out on the 450s there, so yeah. But yeah, we'll take it as it comes. Still recovering with our back injury, but yeah, what can we do? We're just here to have fun.
I remember you used to like this track, eh?
Well, it's flat out, so I like it, yes.
Matty, ready to rip the bars off as always, but it sounds like there's some issues.
Yeah, today GXCC round 4 at Delmas. I've come in with a bit of an injury with my foot. Last weekend I smashed it up a bit. But no, we're going to try, give it our best today and see what we can do.
You know this track, we've raced here a couple of years. We missed out last year, but yeah, we know what it's got.
Yeah, last time I raced here, only did half a lap, broke my thumb here, so I'm hoping to redeem myself and hoping for a good day. I think it's going to be quite dusty, but hopefully the wind takes that away.
Hey Rockstar, we missed you on the gate, man.
Yeah, no, lucky to be back. It's been a while. Obviously, riding was my last race, so it's been a while since I was at the races. Obviously missing Freiburg, so just happy to be back. Weather is looking nice. I think the track's going to be lekker. Don't know the terrain that well. We haven't raced that often at this venue. So yeah, bike's ready. I'm feeling ready. Luckily got a bit of saddle time in. So yeah, hopefully it's going to be a good day.
Want to walk the whole shot, because it's definitely a whole shot racing today.
Hopefully I've been practicing my start, so hopefully you'll catch a whole shot on the camera.
Okay, Johnny, on the big dog.
Yeah, last minute decision to come and ride the 450, so yeah, but I think it's going to suit today's track. I think it's going to be fun.
Tell me how much time you've had on it, because obviously you've outgrown the 250 like 2 years ago.
Yeah, I've spent the whole week on it, and it feels good. Sorted the suspension out and all that. Now can't wait.
Obviously the idea is for you to move 450, and this is a bit of a test bed.
Yeah, 450 next year, or either anything bigger. But yeah, that's the plan.
Do you want to make a 500?
We can build one.
Jace, isn't it always this time of year you get good?
Yeah, it's when the fitness picks up a bit, you know, you're getting in touch with the bike and the pace is growing. So yeah, I'm quite excited to be back here at Delmas. Nice and fast, as I heard. So yeah, let's take that big 450 out and have a jolt.
Seems like everyone got a 450 since the last race as well.
Yeah, I see there's a couple of new Okies there. Young ones are coming up to play with the big boys. But yeah, it's always nice to have new competition to push ourselves.
Historically, you know this venue, we've been here a couple of years. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think this is quite a variety of terrain, hard pack, sand, some few river crossings and so forth. So I think it is good, and yeah, it's Midland. we're gonna hang it. We're gonna hang it definitely.
All right, Dad, big dog time. I've been wanting to see you on a 450 for a long time. My wish has come true.
Yeah, jumped off the 350 just for this race. Gonna see how it goes. I'm not planning on going up the class next year, but I want to feel the power and I want to start in front this time. I don't like going through the dust, and it can be quite dusty here. So see how it goes. If I get a good start, I'm going to be very happy. And if the track's nice, I'm going to push. If not, I'll take it easy. It's just national still, for the overall, is still my main focus.
Let's take it to the line, the OR1 Big Bangers, and what a gate indeed. Some new blood out there on the 450s, some regular superstars. Dav Cocker was going to be an interesting story on the day. If you pulled the pin, he would be gone. Cocker got a good pull off the gate, got his nose up the inside, but we had a lot of the usual competitors there. Brawler was there, John Buerter, now on a 450, ran inside the top 3, with Francois de Grief on the Yami, also running strong. out of the gate and in early laps. But with clear air, Cocker was gone. OR2's interesting situation here where we saw the return of Erhard Airtime Bierkus jumping onto a Husky 350. He would have Boren Pretorius to duke things out with throughout the rest of the day. OR2's is looking interesting right now with new blood coming back. In the OR3s, Kobus Bester got his big hole shot of the season. Tyron Beverly was there, Paltzer, Mary, Wenzel, Maddie Wilson and Karam. This was going to be one of the biggest dices of the day. For the high schools, the Screamers on the 125s, the Youngblood, Jaden Boyce came back and got his form. One of the best hole shots we've seen out of this kid. Derek Karam was on his wheel with Nathan Westerdale and Clarkey, the previous round winner, trying to go double-double on the season. The seniors was going to be a wild one. It would definitely be all about hole shot, and that honor went to Lawrence Mahoney. But there was some big swingers out there. The battle royal that is Kochi versus Yanni Potkita. Then Ryan Smith and JJ Rousseau were trying to see what they could do as well. But this was going to be a fast one and a gloves-off challenging event. For the Masters, Kobus Jonk and Peter Hall went elbows up into turn number 1. The old war that is now Kawasaki versus Honda. A stall off the gate for Farmer meant it was a good pull off the line for the Sherco rider, Anthony van der Walt. Ian Pepper was going to be the man in the early stages of the Veterans campaign, but as the race went longer, it was going to be Marty Poole on the Shimwells Racing Yamaha that would chase down and see clear air after Pepper and the Kawasaki pulled out of the event. Then on to the big shows that are the Pro-Am gates. The OR1s gave us some spectacular racing throughout the day and into the dust. And as we have now crested the halfway knuckle of the championship, things are getting tasty and championships are getting wild. Frana Engelbrecht going down hard, but he would fight back and he would stand on the podium at the end of the day. In the OR2 Pro-Ams, this is starting to become very interesting because the Pro-Am OR2s actually have bigger entries and closer racing than the Pro OR2s. So it's a bit of a story to see who is going to make the big jump up into the Pro categories for next year. And then always coming out of the Pro-Am gates, the OR3s, the 250cc machines, would give us some spectacular riding as these guys challenge their way out there into one of the most enjoyable and spectacular tracks on the GXCC calendar. Delmas has a bit of everything, and the riders would taste that as they ran out on the numbers. In the OR4s, the feeder category is so much fun. You've got names like Drickus van der Merwe, Franco Fourie, Dylan Besadenhout and John Bart Maritz. A lot of them still racing in the junior categories, but they get a chance to go out on the big course in the afternoon as well. Some of those kids doing 7 hours of racing. In the ladies pro category, the pocket rocket, Nicole Duplessis, saw clear air early on, but she would eventually get caught and passed in the early stages. She was out there dicing with Natasha Tapuch, but after Queen Cat, that's Catherine Mostert, stalled out off the line, she would clear the gate and run the numbers off front and never be seen again throughout the rest of the day. Pro-Ams was all about Nicole Compan getting it done. Yeah, she got the pin into turn number 1, but quickly it was Bianca Edwards that would clear the gate, run off front, and actually try and challenge most of her way through the ladies pro category. Before we go out into the fields and check out the results from Delmas, let's talk to Vian about the championship, as we're now officially in the second half of the tour.
Vian, the bike championship is really coming to life. We are now officially in the second half of the season, and it's a bit of a nail-biter now.
We looked at the entries earlier in the week, and I thought, oof, there's a couple of names that I don't see here, but luckily they started coming in, and a couple of interesting things like Davin coming into OR1, obviously throwing away the points for OR2. So it's like you say, nail biter halfway through the season. It's important to get to every race now and rack up those points, especially with the fact that there's no throwaway.
Is it going to be dust bowl racing? Because I think we might get away with it not being too bad.
I don't think it's going to be too bad. The soil over here is, especially down to the river side, is that black clay soil, and it's hard and it doesn't make a lot of dust. Obviously where they're going around the pivots and the millie fields, it's going to kick up some dust. but it's short sections and then it's over, and then they're going back into the grasslands and next to the river and so on. So I don't think it's going to be too bad, but yes, it's winter, you know. Once the quads have gone through it, 1 or 2 laps, then maybe we're going to end up seeing a bit of dust here.
Let's check it out then and climb those ladders. At least the temperature did come up for the afternoon session. The cold was a thing of the past, but the dust was definitely there. The track did break up, that crust coming off the top. And a little bit of fresh water on every lap, cooling things down. Shelley Compan and Nicole Compan were dicing it out for a number 5 and a number 4 throughout the day. Danelle Janse van Rensburg got it done inside of a number 3. Looked like she really came to life at this event as well. Some of these ladies do enjoy it when the tracks get a little bit more open and fast. There's a couple of technical sections to slow things down, but when these girls get a chance to grip it and rip it, they can really fly. Myrtle Turon, second place for her. She's looking good for a top 3 in the championship come the end of the season, but Bianca Edwards once again ran the numbers off the front. In the ladies pro category, Morella Fotheringham, the Fotheringham Racing name, doing really well, supporting all of the GXCC events we go out to. 4th place for her. The Pocket Rocket, Nicole Duplessis, dropping down to a number 3 finish. Just couldn't hold the pace of the top 2 ladies throughout the afternoon session. But 3rd place is a nice, solid day on the bars. 2nd place was Natasha Tapuch. I chatted to Natasha before she went out of the gates in the afternoon session, and she was brimming with confidence. She maybe suffered a little bit with top end, but 2nd place shows that she was rock solid throughout the day. Queen Cat, that's Catherine Mostert, who's looking to nail down a couple of championships this year. She's running out there in the lead of the Farm Jam Series and now is the clear favorite to walk away with the GXCC title as well. She says this is a comeback year. She's still figuring out how to get faster. That's a scary thought, eh? In the OR4s, the kids that are out there trying to figure out how the big loops run in the afternoon session, Jaden Webb was up there inside of a number 10, with Matthias Tiempont breaking his way inside of a number 9, also doing double duties. Ben Geldenaes was there for a number 8, and Gabriella Fotheringham inside of a number 7. James Hall breaking his way inside of a number 6 with Carl Wilmerans on the C1. He has so much fun out there, always waving at the cameras and having an absolute jaw. Number 5 for him. Dylan Besadenhout breaks his way inside of a top 4, even though he went for an early bath. He'd have felt that one. 4th place gives him his best ride of the season, though. Drickus van der Merwe, after walking away with the win in the Junior 85s in the morning session, brings home another podium this time around. 3rd place in the OR4s, which is becoming an extremely close championship. Stefan Klerk brings home his best ever finish at the GXCCs in the OR4s as well, and sets his name out. Watch out for this guy to possibly move up to some of the big Pro-Am categories for next season. But it was John Bart Maritz who stood on the tippy top step, the 177, battling with the junior gates in the 2023 championship, but really coming to life in the OR4s as he gets ready to move up into high school 125s next season. Climbing the ladder then through the Pro-Am categories. Remember, the OR3s gave us one of the biggest gates on the day. 8th place this time going to Danny Pienaar. Albertine Pienaar just up the road from him, 7th place. Maybe not the track layout that he would like. He does like things a little bit more testing and technical, but 7th place, still a good day at the office for him. Dean Buerter was out there waving the flag for Gravity Racing. We're starting to become one of those teams that have a rider on almost every single gate at the moment. 6th place for him. Estienne Kutzer, great to see this guy back as well. Made a point of walking up to me in the morning session as he got himself ready. And he said this is going to be a good track for him, and it does show. Number 5 right. Janko Vennikirk enjoyed his time out there dicing things out for a number 4 finish. And remember, all the guys finishing inside the top 7 were on a 4-lap racing count. That is a long day in the saddle. A little bit of wildlife out there, getting into the peripheral view of Francois Smallberger. 3rd place, still coming back from his hand injuries from a couple of rounds back. So he'll be pretty happy just to stay on the lead lap. Brandon Herbst, tasty rider. We've seen him come good as well. And he does like things a little bit more cowboy. So a high-speed track like this was right up his alley. The C2 of Ruby Stratum. Ruben putting on a show and just jawling his way around the Delmas layout of the track. He probably didn't even know he was in the lead as he ran some of the fastest pace of the Pro-Am gates. Ruben Stratum, yet another big win on the championship. Into the OR2 Pro-Am gates, where we saw some tasty racing happening out there. Marcel Swart always inside of the top 10 and starting to build his momentum throughout the season. Tian Hinnis, since he stepped up onto the 350 KTM, he started to find those results, riding out of Old School Customs. Just outside of the magical top 6 though. 6th place this time around, going to Russell Van Gool. Gould on the 366, making a big name for himself and trying to break into the top 5 for the championship. Stoffie Berger, the 417 of Stoff, happy with this kind of layout, this kind of terrain. Really worked out for him. Gav Young, 4th place, doesn't show how good he was on the day. He was potentially going to challenge for a top 2. And unfortunately, he had some motor issues on his machine, dropping down to a number 4 finish. He'll bounce back from that, though. Xander King has been very loud about the fact that this was the best track of the season for him and the Yami. A little bit down on horsepower on the big straights, but the Yami was singing a song and brought him to a number 3 ride. Jaco Nordea in his comeback season, 2nd place for him. He's going to be out there challenging for wins pretty soon, but it was Tristan Bontekonen. This kid is gonna be up there for the championship this year. Not only that, he was one of the fastest smokers out there on the Pro-Am gates. Pro-Am OR1, the big bangers. Henno van Kirk was inside of a top 8, chasing onto the back wheel of Big Chris Harmser, stepping onto the 500 and starting to get comfortable once again. I think we're going to see Chris on the big 5 honey soon, riding out of VW Mastercars Hatfield once again. Up the road from Big Chris was all about Thorne Blake, the Vans Racing Husky rider, always inside of the top 6. And consistency pays the bills. You're going to see him inside the top 6 for the championship come the end of the season, all being well. Dean Denton inside of a top 5, one of the best rides we've seen out of him as well. So clearly one of those tracks that we see slightly different results. Big Shane, or medium-sized Shane Nienob as we like to call him, another VW Mastercars Hatfield Racing rider, walks away with a number 4 finish. And Frana Engelbrecht, after getting tangled up and coming out the gate dead last, climbs the ladder inside of a top 3. That dude can really pedal. Henry Pretorius has one of his best rides of the season as well, coming out of the Roost KTM squad, factoried up to the max. Tippy-toed where he had to, leaned back and gripped it and ripped it where he could. 2nd place gives the Roost man on the 79 his best ride of the season, and he was on the lead lap with 4 laps counted. Bowie Smith got the whole shot and never looked back, and that's his style of riding. Even though he got jammed up a couple of times out there in the tech zones, when it was flying time, he was gone. Into the GXCC age group categories, the veterans. Stefan Bagnall got it done inside of number 4, chasing onto the back wheel of Johan Fourie. Check out the size of the tank on Johan Fourie's bike, by the way. He did not have to refuel the entire day. In fact, he could have ridden his bike back to Pretoria and had spares left over. 3rd place also gives him one of his best rides of the championship season. 3 laps counted. The top 2 riders stayed on the lead lap, 4 laps scored for Dick Bessinger. Dick loves this style of riding with a nice mix of speed and terrain. And the VW Mastercars Hatfield rider on the 699, 2nd place. That's going to see him improve in his championship challenge as well. But it's solid, consistent, and smooth as butter for the Shimwell's Yamaha rider that is Marty Poole. Poole saw clear air early on, and he just got himself into that comfortable rhythm that he enjoys, that he can almost hold all day long. For the GXCC Masters category, bigger field this time around, where we saw Francois Bosch inside of a number 10. Fricky Ellis climbed the ladder inside of a number 9, with Peter Jourdan, another VW Mastercars Pro, getting it done to a number 8 ride. JJ Duval was just up the road from him. Some in-house fighting. A little bit of walking biltong causing some problems out there for Conrad Edwards. Didn't seem to slow his roll as the Gravity Racing star got it done inside of a top 6. Francois Swanepoel for the Spherical Logistics Racing Squad on the 572, struggling to find the form that had him as a championship challenger for the last couple of seasons. 5th place this time around. 4th place for the flying comeback kid that is Anthony van der Walt. The 300 Sherco, slightly down on top end power, but he made up for it in the tech zones. And Fastbait, 4th place, gives him one of his strongest results of the tour. Wayne Farmer stalled out off the gate, eventually climbed the ladder to 3rd place, but was not looking like himself. and is obviously still recovering from injuries earlier on in the season. Second place, though, was all about Kobus Jonk. The Viking has been swinging hard since getting picked up by the franchise CIT Sleepover Honda squad. Second place will still keep him in the championship challenge, but it's Peter Hall who's coming off a newly crowned national championship big #1 plate for the national series, but also trying to nail down the GXCCs. The Pepsi Plastics Kawasaki man was gone out at Delmas. For the senior category, Rhino de Kock climbed the ladder inside of a top 10 and showed what he can do on an adventure spec machine. So you got to know that thing is dressed up and a little bit heavier than the rest of the plastic bikes. Henny Blicknote almost went out the front door on the big jumps on the long high-speed rhythm section, but gathered itself back together and walked away with a #9 finish. Tian Robbie was there with a #8 with Konrad Sieber getting it done inside of a #7. Ryan Smith is coming back and finding the form that he likes as well. Mixed terrain for the Roost KTM guy. The famous 72 breaks his way inside of podium this time around for a top 6. Pierre Buchholz was out there to see if he could tame the beast that is Delmas, and the Gravity Racing superstar was inside of a top 5. That'll definitely give him one of his highest finishes of the season. JJ Rousseau was great out of the gate, but did start to find some problems out there on the course that slowed his roll. But also, a #4 finish gives him his best ride of the season. Delmas definitely ticking the boxes for a lot of riders. Marco Cocci did his very best to try and hang on to the pace of the top 2, but third place was the best that he could do. But he said he absolutely loved the terrain. A perfect 50-50 track, high speed and tech. Whatever you want, you got. Yanni Potgieter came to life at Delmas. The big 500 was unstoppable, only beaten by one rider on the day. It's normally the Potgieter and Cocci show, but in the early laps, Cocci fell off the back and Potgieter was gone. In fact, on lap 1, it was very close to the back end of this guy, Lawrence Mahoney, who definitely has the setup dialed and styled on the big Honda now. For the high school category, after a great hole shot and getting the cheese, Jaden Boyce on the Pepsi Plastics Kawasaki 125 dropped down to a #10. He's just having one of those tough seasons. He'll bounce back though. Up the road from him, on the lead lap and inside of single digits, was Cameron Farrell. Jean-Andre Vermark also in his step-up season. It seems like just the other day he was dominating the 85cc categories, but it's taken a little while to figure out the high school 125s. Dion van Stad was up the road from him in a #7 with Hendrik Swart taking it to a #6. Swart, the first of the podium places, and he has tasted podium champagne multiple times on the Yami throughout the season so far. Alex Schrobler danced and whipped his KTM through the course to climb the ladder inside of a top 5, getting onto the back wheel of the #4 of the Vans Racing Husky, Timmy Blake. Blake has really gelled well with the 125, and it seems to have changed his riding style for the better as he picks up yet another strong position for the championship. Third place this time, it wasn't to be a double-double for Clarkie. Brandon Clark coming off an incredible first ever 125cc win at the previous round, dropping down to third place. Derek Karam looked like he might have had the pace on the Moto Klerksdorp Yamaha YZ 125 to get another win going, but second place will keep him in the championship hunt. It's Nathan Westerdale though, who's starting to look super tasty as the KZN kid rocked it out here at one of the wildest tracks on the tour. He said he loved the jumps, and I think that kept his energy high the whole way through the day. Westerdale, the champ on the high school 125 gate at round 4. Starting to get tasty then as we climb the ladder into the pro categories, starting out with the OR3s, where I'm always famous for saying around about 7 or 8 guys can walk away with a win at any time. Tyron Peltzer was down there with a #10. Nathan Godrich, who's familiar with this kind of terrain, was down there with a #9, with Stefan Smith for Gravity Racing inside a #8. Then the story of the day was Matty Wilson, challenging for the win, but on lap 1 he went down super hard. Looks like he's actually caused some damage to an already damaged foot, and dropping down to a #7. That's going to hurt his championship challenge for the GXCC's club and regionals. Tyron Beverly, after having his best ever national result a couple of weeks back at Freiburg, dropped down in the GXCC's to a #6. Kobus Bester, after pulling the big show on the hole shot, dropped down to a #5. That's a huge story. It just shows how the pace of the guys inside the top 4 builds throughout the day. Vian Wenzel who hasn't raced a bike in well over a month, came back for the GXCC's round number 4 as his comeback event, and the 122 on the Peps and Plastics Kawasaki 250 climbed the ladder up to a number 4. Ryan Peltzer, who tends to build pace in the second half of the races now, was punished for a slow start to the day. Third place was the best that he could do, but it looks like the factory Husqvarna star is starting to get back to where he needs to be. Eric Merry, who's staring down the barrel of possibly the magical season. Club, regional and national titles are all out there for the taking for the Bikers Warehouse Honda rider out there on the 250. Second place this time around, and only losing out to a good mate of his up the road. That friend, Peter Karam, the Roost KTM man, who had a tough start to the season, going down super hard at the first round of the National Championships up in Gauteng at Legends, and now starting to look like his old self as he rocks it to a big win on the 250. OR2 Pro Gate is a strange situation at the moment, as we've seen a lot of moving and shaking and a lot of riders moving up out of the gate into the big show. Tick Harrower on the MTA Gas 8th place, just can't seem to find his mojo, had some issues once again, only tagging 2 laps completed. Bonnie Barnard was up there into a number 7. Brad Burrell just did not look like his old self at all, riding out of Old School Customs. One of his lowest finishes of the season. Remember, this guy's won a round of the championship, and he drops down to 6th place this time around. CD Gerson, the multiple quad Q2 champion, starting to come good in the Pro OR2 Motorcycle Gate. 5th place. We'll see him running inside the top 5 for the championship in the overalls as well. Matty Sneyman was up there trying to get it done to a number 4, riding out of the VW Mastercars Hatfield squad. 4th place, he'll be pretty happy with that. Janus Janssen was carving his way through the terrain, getting it done inside of a top 3. Janssen definitely says this was one of his best tracks of the season. As I've said before on the show, Gravity Racing delivering a lot of riders throughout a lot of the gates. Byron Pretorius, a guy that maybe doesn't get as much media as he should. He flies below the radar, but he lets his riding and the results do the talking. 2nd place here shows that he's starting to figure out the 350cc machine. Only losing out to Erhard Airtime Bierkes. For a couple of seasons now, focusing on motocross, but a rider that can turn his talents and his speed to almost anything. On a borrowed bike, on a 350 at round number 4, GXCC's was all about airtime getting the win in category. Climbing the ladder then into the OR1 Pro Big Bangers, Rudy Vieira, the Rooster, getting it done inside of a top 10. He didn't think he'd made the cut, but as always, the Rooster, the fastest privateer out there, is on the show. Francois de Groef, who also says he's a privateer, but he looks way factory. He was running inside the top 3 in the early laps, and then he had some issues, dropping him down to an eventual number 9. But I think there's a top 3 out there waiting for the kid. 8th place for Jean-André Olivier. It was top-end racing, and if you didn't have all the gears, you were going to be in trouble. Olivier dropping down to a number 8. Brandon Kotzer steps off of the Kawasaki onto a KTM and got comfortable straight away. 7th place. One of the best rides we've seen out of him on the season. Definitely looked happier. Henko Hol, that's Peter Hol's son, flying on the Peps and Plastics Kawasaki. First time on that bike, and he was up there, only beaten by the factory superstar that is Taki Bodgiorgis on the 222, coming back into racing. Top 5 for Taki. An old school track, and he knows what he's doing. John Buerta looked the happiest he has been all season long. Outgrew the 250 almost as soon as he got on it, and now he got the call up. Harry giving him the big 450, and he loved it. He was running in the top 3 early on and dropping down to a number 4. John Buerta looking super happy on the big 450 Honda. The Brawler, 3rd place, doesn't show how fast he really was. He crashed around 4 or 5 times throughout the day. He just needs to clean his act up a little bit, and then he'll be win. 3rd place for the Brawler. But JC Nienaber was 2nd place and very close to the win as well. It's good terrain for JC Nienaber. He's got a lot of experience, knows how to get the best out of his 450cc Kawasaki, and 2nd place was a strong run. But Dav Cocker was absolutely gone. This was custom-made track for Cocker, and the first time he's gone out on the big 450. He probably put in maybe 2 hours of practice on the machine before he lined up, and he was gone. Overall on the day, OR1 Big Banger win. First time out on a 450, and he just put on the show. We chatted to him after the flag. Dav, we know you're on the 450. That's old news. That's a one-off. But tell me about the track.
I enjoyed the track a lot. Luckily I got a good start, so I didn't have the dust on that first lap. I think that was pretty crucial to pull a little bit in the beginning. And yeah, it was pretty fast, not too twisty in places, but I enjoyed it overall, and I'm happy to ride JF again.
Yeah. You've been out of gate 2, 3 and 4 most of your career. This is the first time you've seen clear air ever.
Yeah, the first time on the 450, first time in the OR1 class, and I'm happy. I enjoy starting it out the front. No, none of the dust I have to deal with in the other races, but it is what it is, and I'm happy with it.
Break down the track for us, because it looked like there was a bit of everything out there.
And there was definitely a bit of everything. Get some mud sections, fast and twisty, but overall the track, it was set up really well, and through the fast stuff it wasn't dangerous at all. Tight stuff, it was marked well, and the mud wasn't too bad.
Jace, like we say, you always come good at an event like this in the time of year. That was a good run, eh?
Yeah, no, I felt good. This whole week I was telling myself, okay, alright, we need a pull finger a bit and won this 450. And I absolutely had a great day out. The marking was amazing. Thank you to Vian for yet again organising such a good event. Yeah, at the end of the day, I just enjoyed myself and just went for it. And yeah, I think second in class and second overall today, so I'm happy, very happy.
Airtime, a winning category, a top 10 overall, and welcome back to GXCC's, bud.
Yeah, no, it was lucky. It's a bit tough when you're not done practicing this stuff, but it was lucky.
Good layout of track for you. It had a bit of everything.
Yeah, but it was quite high speed. The dust and the rocks is not for me. I'm used to motocross, but it was lucky.
Merry man, good track for you today. Take me through it.
Yeah, I honestly had no problems. A few laydowns, a few stalls, but honestly nothing. I had a perfect day.
We could see from lap 1 it was a horsepower track though. The 250s didn't come through as quick as you guys normally do.
Yeah, I was also struggling with the top speed on the Honda. We obviously aren't getting with the other OXL, but she held up for the day and it got the job done. So.
Nathan, you're getting the hang of these GXCCs. Tell me how it was out there. That was a nasty one.
It wasn't too rough, and it was fast and very dusty.
Tell me about the race with you and Derek, because that's coming. It's starting to heat up, right?
Yes, it is. No, Derek held me off most of the time. Then unfortunately, I think he lost his brakes, and then I passed him in the pits, and I didn't see him after that.
I think Delmas is one of those tracks where now you get the feel of GXCCs. Delmas has got everything in it.
Yes, it does.
Bit of water, bit of roofs, bit of jumps. What's the favourite part for you?
I definitely think the jumps.
Dee, tell me about the day. The pace was fast, but you had some issues out there.
Yeah, I was able to come out of the Mason first, and then on the first lap I got a lot of up bump, but I was still in the lead. And on the second lap I managed to pull a gap, and on the third lap I was like I think 5 minutes ahead, and I came into the pits with no back brakes, and they fixed it, and Nathan passed me in the pits, and wasn't able to pass him on the last lap to make a pass.
Laurie, talk to me about that lap. I mean, it's a lacquer layout, eh?
Yeah, no, look, yes, it was nice. It was fast. You had to be awake all the time because you literally third gear and up all the time. Long sweeping corners, and in some sections you had to be wakey, a little bit rocky, a lot of ruts from the rain, obviously previous rain where the buckies do cross ruts. So that's very tricky on the bike. But all in all, very good day. Yeah, can't complain. Everything went well. Dust was bad, but same for everyone. You just have to be clever and line the guys up and find when the wind works for you, you have to make the best of those opportunities. And yeah, bike was amazing. Big thank you to the team. And it's all in all a good day.
3/4 of the way through your comeback season. How can you sum it up so far?
No, it's been fun. It's been fun. It definitely is fun. It's not easy. In 3 years not racing, you lose a lot. But slowly, I start feeling like my old self. Fitness is not what it used to be back in the day, so we're still working on that. But yeah, it's nice. I'm enjoying racing again, and big thank you to the team, all my sponsors. Really thank you to them. But it's good to be racing.
Yanni, tell me about your day. I saw you running pretty high up there.
Yeah, Matt. Today was just I don't know. I know I had to go flat out from the start. It was scotchy.
Lowlands, I never even thought of catching Lowlands, but I know like all times. Me and Kochi beating each other, chasing each other, but I like the track. Flat out, fast, milli fields.
500 track.
500
This was a big dog track. Sherbet, man. But well done, eh? It was a flipping good ride.
Fair
and square. I did my best to come and catch you, but Sherbet, I just could not get. As soon as you got close in the dust, then you know, back off, and it's just to keep that pace. The pace that you had today was incredible. So, no, well done. Well done. Take it. Not just yet, Joe. Not just yet. We're still going to get some drinks in there.
We'll see afterwards.
Okay, Peter, you've had the peanut gallery in your ear. Tell me about your day.
No, it was just awesome. I came here feeling good and really excited just to race. And I've never raced this track before. And after the first round, I just knew. Perfectly marked. That's what I like, and I just knew it's going to be a good day. So,
like a fast one, eh?
Yeah, it was like a fast, but grips in some places, but slidey in some other places. So, but yeah, really nice. Yeah. So,
Tell me about you were having a chat with Lawrence over here.
Yeah, no, he thought he passed me, but then he must have lapped me, and I knew it's not Lawrence. I can't pass Lawrence. So, but my son's also racing on a Kawasaki today, also with the same shirt as me. So yeah, mistake there, small mistake, but very enjoyable. And the GXCC guys. I mean, they just somehow get it right. Yeah, so it was an awesome race, and the cover, the jet bike goes well. I've sorted out the suspension now. So yeah, I was very happy on the bike.
Kat, not your cup of tea, a little bit quick, but tell me about your day.
This was a very quick race, very dusty, but I actually enjoyed it. First time, this year I'm getting back to the faster the racing, and I'm really enjoying it. Just it's something else than just going slow in the rocky sections, but it was a very good layout of track, I would say.
Lap 1, not too bad. Quite a bit of traffic for you up the road, but then from then on, it was busy.
Yeah, lap 1 was quiet, no dust. And then lap 2, about 40 k's in, the first guy started lapping me, and then I could not see a word in front of me.
Tell me about the layout of the track. Is this one of your favourite ones? Because it's got a bit of everything.
I would say I enjoy this. There was like a small rocky section that I enjoyed, but the water was very deep. Layout's very good. I enjoyed the sand sections, twists and turns, so it was not fast all the way. Very good.
Confirmation of the results then. Cocker takes the overall and his inaugural win on the 450s, beating out on Ninabe Roel Buerta on the 450, enjoying his time with the number 4 spot just ahead of Taki. Airtime Bierkus takes the win at round number 4, beating out Pretorius. Jensen, Sneeman and Sidi Goosen were our magical top 5. Pro OR3s, the 250s, Karen, Mary, Palzer, Wenzel and Bester, with Beverly just outside on a number 6. Into the high schools, Westerdale gelled well with the terrain out here, beating out on Karam, Clarkey, Blake and Krobler. Into the age group classes then, the seniors, Lawrence Mahoney hammering the nail, putting some time into Potgieter, Kochi, Rousseau and Bushholtz. Flip the page into the Masters, Peter Hall puts the hurt on to the Viking, Jonk, Farmer, Van der Walt and Swanepoel. Conrad Edwards into a number 6. Marty Poole takes the big win, putting huge time into Bessinger, Fourie and Bagnall for the veterans win at round number 4. Into the Pro-Am gates, Smitty winning out ahead of Pretorius, Albrecht, Ninabe and Denton. That was on the OR1 Big Bangers. OR2 gates, all about Bontekoenen, but watch out for Nordea, he's coming on strong. Xander King singing on the YZ into a number 3 ahead of Young and Berger. OR3 Pro-Ams about Stratum, Herbst, Smallberger, building, coming back from those injuries, beating out on Vanny Kirk and Kutzer. OR4s, John Bart Moritz takes a massive win, beating out on Klerk, Van der Merwe, Besatenhout and Volmerans. Pro-Am ladies, all about Edwards, beating out on Teron and Janssen van Rensburg. Queen Cat takes the win ahead of Tepuch and Duplessis in the pros. So that was round number 4 of the championship, right smack bang in the middle of winter. Dust Bowl racing, that is Delmas, but it was a great layout of a track and everyone absolutely loved it. Remember, it's a short championship this year. That's round number 4, wrapped up in a bow. 2 rounds to go, and the next round goes to Rustenburg. We'll see you guys out there on the line. All this GXCC racing action is brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield. Okay, so with the GXCC out the way, we now look forward to the next couple of runs over the next 6 weeks of racing. Coming up next is going to be Forge Racing. Obviously, you saw last week's show, but if you didn't, go check it out on HollywoodHills. That's on our YouTube channel, and you can see a little bit of what the kind of terrain we're going to be working with on next week. That's going to be Forge Racing. 2 weeks after that, it's going to be Farm Jam. And this week, I'm going out to chat to Leon and Rowan about the track. So keep an eye on the press. There's going to be a lot of information coming at you. We were also out at the Husqvarna Enduro launch for 2024 bikes. So that was super cool. We got to go and play with a couple of their bikes, and I absolutely destroyed myself up in the mountains. I didn't crash or anything, but yeah, I need a little bit more practice. Anyway, you'll notice that Troy Lee Designs are on board as well. Watch for the insert there as well. Langston's, Troy Lee, and A-Stars have come on board to make Hollywood look Hollywood, to go out there and test the bikes and bring you all the information. For now, guys, stay tuned and we'll keep it pumping out there. Laters.